Okay, this video is going to be video number 2 where we're going to go over the suppliers and all kinds of different options you have when it comes to, customizing your product, getting your product onto different platforms. We're just going to go over that really quickly. And then in the next video, we're going to wrap all of these setups up by going over the final 3 things you need to do to get your store live, to get that .com address up, share that with your mentor. And so after that, we can move into marketing and generating some sales. So let's go. So as far as suppliers are concerned, as soon as you get the invite to your store, you can go up here into the store tab, and we kind of went over this in the previous video, but in the products tab, you'll be able to see all of your products here. Now, the great thing about this setup is that all of these products are already set up with the supplier. So they're existing products that have already been set up, that are already marked up as well. So the price has actually already been marked up, but that doesn't mean that you can't change it. So you still have the complete freedom to change the name, the description, and the prices as well. You can change all of these different items. That also means the supplier can customize the product images. So for example, right now, if you see this like table here, it's plain. There's no branding. There's nothing being done here. And I mean, for a table, that's perfectly fine. So for example, if you're selling like artwork, you don't need custom branding because, you're selling art. But for some product, custom branding might be a really good idea. Like for example, if you're in the skincare niche, or if you're in something like sunglasses or even something like that, having a custom branded custom product is a big appeal when it comes to selling, because people look at that. That just gives your brand that premium look, and people want to have that custom product, not just a run-of-the-mill, a cookie cutter type of product. And so custom branding is one way to stand out and one way to differentiate yourself from the competition, but it doesn't always apply like we just said. Now, the supplier is able to custom brand your products as well. Now, there is going to be a cost for that. It's generally about $100 to $200, depending on what's being custom branded and how many products you're going to be custom branding as well. So it depends on those sorts of factors, but for the most part, the supplier is still able to custom brand your product for you don't need to buy any inventory. There's no MOQ or minimum order quantity. You don't need to buy inventory. Now, that being said, it's optional. So you don't have to custom brand. If you don't have the funds for it, that's perfectly fine. That's always an option that's available for you down the line when you're ready to scale. So when you're ready to start scaling up, you've generated a few sales, and now you want to custom brand, really turn your business into a brand. Go for it. Go ahead and custom brand at that point. Now, I keep saying supplier. The reason I'm not bringing up a specific supplier is that everyone is going to get a specific and different and unique supplier. So it's not the same supplier that's running every single business. Suppliers specialize in specific products. And so your supplier is going to reach out to you via email within 24 hours. Now, they already know you've got your store from Bolt. They already know that you're set up with one of our Orbit 12 platform websites. And so they will not be, charging you any sort of setup fee or anything monthly, nothing like that. You get your store, the supplier is already set up, and they're ready as soon as possible to start shipping out product. So there's no real setups that you need to get done on their end. Now, moving back to the product itself, like I said, you can request new images, and if you want logos and custom branding, we can do that for you. So you don't really need to reach out to the supplier for that kind of stuff. But if you want to add more products, that's something that you can request. So for example, if there's a specific product that you saw on TikTok, or on Instagram, and you really think it has potential and you think it fits in your brand, it fits in your store, then all you need to do is send your supply manager, who's going to reach out to you, email them and let them know, hey, this is a product that I saw on TikTok or anywhere else, and I really want to sell it on my store. I think it'll do really well. Can you guys source it for me? And that's basically it. They'll put in a source request, get that product on the catalog, and then you can add it from the catalog to your store. And we kind of went over how to add a product. You add a product, physical product, and boom, you fill it in, add the images, and the product is going to be live on your store. So yes, you can add more products as well, and you're not limited to just this one supplier. If you do meet or run into another supplier, you go to a supply fair or something, because there's tons of them all around the country, and there's something the supplier has that you want to add, you can add any supplier's products to your store. So you're not limited. You're not limited to that supplier, and you're not limited to the products you start off with. You can add more products if you want to. And that's basically it. So this supplier, they're going to be supplying your store, but also, for example, now if you want to move into Amazon FBA, you want to start selling big bulk, you want to start selling on Amazon, so you're going to be getting a lot of traffic, you're going to be generating a bunch of sales. I'm going to talk about Amazon FBA when we get into the marketing side of things, when we talk about FBA and getting that set up. Supplier does all of the setups for you. So we're talking getting an Amazon FBA storefront set up, and we also highly recommend doing that because it just blows up the value of your business, because that's something that you want to keep in mind. You running this business is basically you building an asset that has value. And at some point, and this is like almost every mentor at Bolt has bought a business, or we've sold a business that we started. And so that selling price heavily depends on how not just how much money it's making, but how many platforms are you selling on. If you're only selling off of your website, hey, it's going to be a valuable website that can even bring in a big chunk of money when you go to sell it. But if you have products selling on Amazon FBA, you got products selling on TikTok, you got products selling on your website, it just becomes so much more of a larger business operation, and therefore it's also way more valuable. Now, just to break down the numbers, if you're making about $1,000 to $2,000 a month in profit, across 3 platforms, let's say, in e-commerce. So those 3 platforms, obviously, TikTok, your website, and Amazon FBA, your business is worth about 12 to 15K. If you go to sell your business at that point, that's the price that you can request for. Like, that's what the bid auction is going to look like based on e-commerce multiples. So just keep that in mind. You're building an asset, you're building something that's going to grow in value over time. And so the supplier is basically that like glue that keeps everything together. They are the kind of lifeblood of your business. They are the ones that are selling customers want. And this website is also that hub that the supplier has, that connection that supplier has to your business. So they're going to be really important in the long run, and obviously in the short run as well, to start generating some sales. But the supplier really has tons of capabilities, and the supply manager, who's your dedicated account manager who reaches out to you via email, is always going to be at the ready to help you get what you need and keep your business moving forward. So that's it for the supplier video. Really quick, just an introduction to what the supplier capabilities are and why they're so important. In the next one, we're going to talk about finishing up all of your setups.